Contracts Valle. Valle is a Latino name. I am Latino. I should also let you know that I am here illegally. Not immigration-wise, I'm supposed to be on house arrest, so it's a good thing we're underground. I'm glad to have lured all of you into a cave today. Usually when I lure people into caves, it takes a lot more effort. Walking out is going to be easier too, because you all will actually walk out. Usually when I lure someone in, I have to carry them out myself. What's really hard is I can never get all the pieces in one trip, so. Look, I'm not a bad guy, alright? I saw someone getting mugged in an alleyway once, and I ran over to help. Walked away with a brand new watch and 2 pairs of shoes. I blame that on how I was brought up, because when I was a kid, I got in a fight at school, and I got sent home, and my mom was super pissed. She was so mad she even yelled at me. She said, "You know what? I'm not even going to yell at you right now. Just wait till your father gets home." Let me tell you guys something. Wait for my dad to come home. Longest 20 years of my life. So my dad's from Bolivia, and when he first came to this country, his greatest fear was that he would one day get kicked out. So when I was about 6 years old, he voluntarily fled. I got myself cleaned up. I enlisted in the Marine Corps after high school. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served for 5 years. Thank you. I know when you think of a U.S. Marine, this is probably not what you picture. When I first enlisted, I tried to mentally prepare myself for any potential trauma I might face. Things like anxiety, injury, death. The one thing I could not prepare for was the unbelievable number of penises I would see. My job in the Marine Corps was prison guard. So every time a prisoner left the facility for a work detail or court hearing or whatever, we had to conduct a strip search. It was during one of these strip searches that I saw the smallest penis I've ever seen. And I try to be professional, but I'm not gonna lie, when that prisoner dropped his pants, it took every fiber of my being not to burst out laughing. You know what the ironic thing too was? Crime the dude was in for? Indecent exposure. I don't know how he got convicted. I knew he was naked and I couldn't see a damn thing. It just looked like he had a second outie belly button. I've been married. I'm married for 2 years. I'm about to have my first baby. Thank you. I haven't told my wife about that yet, so be cool. No, I am having a baby with my wife. I'm pretty excited. I have pretty good genetics. Someone once asked me if I'd ever donate to a sperm bank, and I said no, because I prefer direct deposit. As a comedian, I've never really been comfortable doing crowd work. You know, where you pick someone out of the audience, you ask them personal questions like, what do you do for a living, are you married, things like that. Because I was at a comedy show one time where the host picked a dude out of the audience, started questioning him, comes to find out, the guy recently found out his wife was cheating on him. He was going through a bitter divorce and he was living in a hotel. So the host decides, that's comedy gold. He decides to make fun of this guy for like the next 10 minutes while the entire audience is just laughing it up. And just imagine you're this guy, right? You go out, try to have a good time, try to forget about your problems. All of a sudden, some dude on stage decides to humiliate you in front of the entire room. Can you imagine how traumatizing it must be? Anyway, what do you do for a living? Are you divorced? Because that would be hilarious. No, I'm not going to mess with you. I have this really pretentious friend who feels the need to critique everything. Like, one time we were drinking wine, and he very loudly and obnoxiously said, "This Merlot is disgusting. It's bitter, flat, and unfit for human consumption." I said, "Bro, we are in the middle of communion service right now. Can you not?" I am a Christian. I try to be a good Christian. In fact, just this week, I helped 4 people accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. One more, and I get a free chicken sandwich from Chick-Fil-A. I think it's weird that in Harrisburg there's a Chick-Fil-A right next to a Waffle House. Those are 2 restaurants with very different vibes. You go into Chick-Fil-A, they're very warm and welcoming, but I remember one night I drove by the Waffle House, the only letters lit up on the Waffle House sign were F you. Don't underestimate the employees in Chick-Fil-A though, they can go hard if they want. They'll go Old Testament. So I remember one time I went in, cashier forgot to say my pleasure. Other employees took her out back, stoned her to death. That's one thing both restaurants do have in common, employees going out back to get stoned. I grew up in a very Republican household. Everyone in my family is Republican, which is why we were so shocked when we found out that my grandma voted for Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Weirdest part about it was, she died like 10 years ago. Speaking of family, we spent this past Christmas with my wife's family, and we decided to do our gift exchange on Christmas Eve, and her parents got me a book called Bad Days in History. It's a compilation of tragic and unfortunate events that have taken place throughout history. It's got a different event for each calendar day of the year. So for fun, I decided to look up December 24th. You know, in my head, I'm thinking, who died on Christmas Eve? Turns out, the event that they had was for December 24th, 1865, the official formation of the KKK. I know, right? Talk about a white Christmas. And I remember thinking, like, why? Why do you have to start the KKK on Christmas Eve? Why do you have to ruin that day? You know, that's like going to a friend's birthday party and starting the KKK. I can't even think of a worse thing to do. I saw this guy once who was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, but instead of palm trees and flowers, it was covered in swastikas. And I confronted him about it. I said, "Why are you wearing a shirt covered in swastikas? That's racist." And he said, "No, swastikas are at a 45-degree angle and rotate counterclockwise. These are at 90-degree angles and go clockwise. So they're not swastikas." And I don't know what's more racist. Wearing a shirt covered in swastikas or knowing the exact geometric dimensions of a swastika. If you like that joke about Nazis, you're in luck. Alright, anyone here seen the movie Schindler's List? I know that's a weird way to start a joke, but just stick with me on this, okay? I was watching, if you haven't seen it, it's a powerful illustration of the horrors of the Holocaust. It's based on a true story, and I was watching it one night. My young niece walked into the room, and she saw the part where a little girl in red is being carted off with about a dozen other dead bodies. And it upsets her. She starts crying. She said, "Is that little girl dead?" And I freaked out. I didn't know she was in the room, so I jumped out. I was like, no, honey, she's not dead, all right? It's just a movie, all right? It's fake, it's not real. And I calm her down, and I send her back to bed. And I thought that was the end of it. Till a few weeks later, I get a phone call from her school. Turns out, they started learning about the Holocaust, and my niece told her teacher, "Uncle Travis said it's fake, it's not real, no one died." I had some explaining to do. Alright, that's it for me. My name's